Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up what is currently the best sign up form setup. I've just seen it come into the e-commerce world again and again, more and more, especially with this one app that's come out for Shopify called Alia. I mean, I'll get into that later and I'll put a link down below if you want to sign up to it. I'll tell you more about that below, but you get, the higher level with my link for the lower level price. That means that they do all the setup for you and all the split testing. But anyway, that's not for everyone. If you've just got Klaviyo and you don't want to get a completely new pop-up, like a new app or anything, with extra fees, then what I'm going to show you here is how to set up this really well-performing pop-up in Klaviyo itself using the Klaviyo builder. So let's just take a look at an example here of what it is. So as you can see there, first of all, it's a full page thing, right? So with Klaviyo, unfortunately, you can't do it exactly full page perfectly, but it works good enough. But this one here is set up with Alia, but you can see the sign up rate here, like it's 11.5%. You may notice that looks different as well. Again, that's in the Alia pop up. The link down below if you want to get that. But what I want to point out is these questions here. So this is why this pop up is so good. Not only has it got the full page thing, but it's also got these micro commitment steps, right? These little questions that people just kind of feel compelled to answer. So first of all, you've got that big thing up there. You've got a mystery discount. So that's just something that, you got to test. You could say you got a 10% discount. You've got a $20 discount, whatever it may be. Just test that up there. But then down below, you've got those questions. So in this case, this client of mine is a bed linen client. And it asks, what kind of sleeper are you? And I get cold easily. I sleep hot. I toss and turn. I sleep like a rock. Okay, so those are the questions. And people just feel a little bit compelled to answer a question about themselves. So that's why this pop-up really works well, because it's just that micro step that they take to then go on to be asked for their email. Because once they've committed a little bit, they already think, well, I've gone this far, I may as well, keep going. If you've got a pop-up that immediately asks for someone's email, people just have that knee-jerk reaction. They're like, oh, I don't want to give my email. Like, I don't know this company yet. I don't know what's going on. But if you're like trying to get to know them, and this is the best way to do it with these questions, then people do feel compelled to just make that click and that commitment. And then they've already taken that little step. So they feel compelled to go a little bit further. And that's why the sign-up rates for this pop-up style are so, so good. So this one here is 11.5. I mean, Alia have people who are getting like 25% and, it's just crazy. But 11.5% is really, really good. Now, if you are driving traffic to your store and you're not collecting emails yet, please do it. You got to do it because, that's how you start to target messages to people. You start to reach out to people for a fraction of the cost of ads. You've got to do it. And especially you've got to do it at a high rate. So if you're converting 11.5% of people coming through your door, that is a huge chunk of people that you can then email again and again to bring them back to your store, which is just essential, absolutely essential for e-commerce and having your own store. So here's another example. So in this case, it's a red light therapy client of mine, and in this case, they're asking like, what are you looking to improve? Like, what is your problem? So this is a big thing. So the other one before was more just a get to know you sort of thing, like, hey, what type of sleeper are you? People want to answer. But this one is really getting down to what problem are you trying to solve? And in red light therapy, these are problems that can be solved, and we present these questions to people. So just a little side note, what I do with this client is each one of these questions, when someone answers it, they actually go into a separate welcome series. So this client, we've set up 6 welcome series, each with like 8 emails in. I mean, it was a huge project, but it really worked out really, really well because Marketing 101 comes down to figuring out your customers' pain points or their desires, whatever it is that is the transformation they're looking for, right? If you just go and say, here's 10% off and then nothing else, and hey, your 10% is here, and hey, it's running out, and blah, 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 and you never mention like the problem that your product can solve, that 10% is just not going to cut it, or 15, whatever the percentage is, it's just not going to cut it. You need to talk to people directly to what they're looking for, what the transformation is that they are looking for, and help them imagine it as well. So in these emails, we talk about reviews of people who had improved skin, better sleep, whatever it is. We talk about scientific studies on how these people were helped with red light rising. Oh, sorry, that's the name of the company, Red Light Therapy. It really is tailored messaging. And without getting that question right at the beginning, then you're not going to know how to talk to these people. So if there was just one welcome series for this company, then they'd get a generic thing, and you'd kind of have to like fit all the problems in. Hey, by the way, did you know you can, your skin can improve, your pain management can improve, your eye health, and it's just like, it's too much, and you just can't fit all that in one email, and it wouldn't work out well if it was spread across a bunch of emails. I mean, imagine one person said mood improvement, and we sent 5 emails before that was all about completely different problems, and they're like, well, where's mood improvement? I don't like it, so they unsubscribe. So that's why we had to set it up this way for this particular client. It was really, really essential. Now, yours probably won't be as complicated as that. This is quite a specific case. If you sell clothing, it could be like, what color do you like? If you sell sportswear, I mean, imagine it's golf or something, and say, how good are you at golf? Are you a beginner, advanced, amateur, pro, whatever it is, and then what type of products to send them, and the messaging is not quite as deeply orientated as this one is here. So again, this one here is 9.25, which is really, really good for red light therapy. I worked on this account for a year before we set this up, and I think the best we got it to was 8% at one point. But that was actually just quiz takers, and I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to ramble on. But 9.25% of people coming in to the site for the first time, signing up to email. And then again, you could email them again and again, like later on. So crucial for e-commerce. So, I mean, just to reiterate why this works, people love answering questions about themselves. Just these little questions. And then again, makes them take that small step to get to the ultimate goal of what we want, is submitting their email. And of course, what they want, really. If they're in the market for the product, they need to be pushed a little bit, I mean, a lot of people think, it's, I don't want to be pushy and things like that. You have to, because people get distracted, people get lazy, people have doubts, people think, it's not going to work. So when you've got their email, you can help convince them that your product will help their lives. It will do good for them. So, if you believe in your product, you gotta really try and do your best and email these people and let them know why you can help them. So just another thing as well, as I mentioned, it can help make sales. Once you get that information on the person, it can help make extra sales because you're tailoring that message. So as I mentioned with the red light therapy client, we set up a bunch of different flows. Welcome series. But you don't have to do that. It doesn't have to go that far. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to set it up in Klaviyo so that, someone goes into the welcome series, but then they also get just one additional email based on their choice that they made on the original step. So that's one thing with the flows, really, really great. But then with the campaigns as well, like imagine you get like a bunch of people signing up for one particular reason. And then, the list of that, reason grows. Well, you can just send campaigns just specifically to those people then. Imagine it was, again, go back to the red light. Imagine a lot of people click the mood improvement, loads of people. It's like, okay, let's send one particular campaign all about mood improvement to all the people who clicked mood improvement. Okay, so it's really, really targeted. It's really, really, the messaging is really speaking to them. And when they feel heard and spoken to, then they're much more likely to make a purchase from you. They think, right, this person understands not only me, but also the product that they're selling. Okay, it beats discounts. It beats all sorts. People will pay more money when they think that the product will work. It's not like, I'm going to discount it for you and maybe it'll work. When they really have confidence in the product, they will pay more. So anyway, talking about the questions, you've got to get this right. So I've seen people set this pop-up, this style up, and it just doesn't work, but that's because they got the questions wrong. They're not trying to get into their customer's mind. They just think, what do I want to know about the customer? And, what will be good for me? And, it just falls flat sometimes. So it's a bit of an art form, right? It's not a science, and thankfully you can split test, right? You can always split test. If you find it difficult to understand, what questions are going to work, you can split test and split test. But hopefully, you got into your store, doing your store because you like the products that you're selling. So, you should have a decent idea of why people are buying the products. But here are some examples of things that just don't work. And these are things that I've seen. So one of them I saw, do you like discounts? And it's like, yes or no. I mean, it's just silly, Of course, everyone wants discounts, or how much do you usually spend on X, whatever product it is. That's too personal, People don't want to talk about their spending habits. How often do you buy this sort of product? So this one, it may seem good, but it's not really. You have to think, what can I send later? Imagine someone says, oh, I buy this thing, 10 times a year. So, okay, great. What are you going to do with that information? What do? Send more emails just to those specific people? No, you're going to be sending emails anyway. You're going to be sending messages to them anyway. So it's just an irrelevant, useless question. So this one as well, this one's tricky. So I've seen this set up and I saw someone set it up and I was like, why isn't that working? It seems right. And it was, what are you shopping for? So this does depend on the products that you're selling, but it happened to be a clothing one, and it was shirts, blouses, shoes, trousers, whatever it is. And it's just like, okay, maybe this person came to your site or to this clothing site because they like the brand, right? And they're clothing buyers. So they may not be thinking at that moment, oh, I need a shirt. They just like the brand. So when you pigeonhole them like that, then it's not going to work out because they don't really know what they're trying to buy in this particular point. So, you do have to be careful with this one. If it works, I did see a gym equipment company do this, and I thought, you know what, that does work here. So it was like, what are you looking for? Barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, or something. Often people will come to a gym site and think, right, I need this. But with style things, like clothing and shoes, people might just be browsing a lot more, just hoping to find something. So yeah, that one's a little bit tricky. So this one as well, I've seen it so much, and it just doesn't work out. Age, gender, size, birthday. First of all, you can ask some of them sometimes. Like the birthday one, you can maybe ask that. And then you send them a coupon on their birthday. Age, people get sensitive about that. Gender, well, let's not get started. The size, again, it's people are going to get sensitive about that. So even though some of these might be useful to you, you might be able to send certain products, people are sensitive about this. And then I've seen some completely irrelevant ones, like what time of day do you usually use this product? And have you ever used this type of product before? And what competitors have you used before? In this case, it's like, how does that help you? What information, sorry, what are you going to do with that information? Like, oh, what time of day do you usually have a shower? Is it morning or evening? Oh, in the morning. What email are you going to send? And it's probably going to be like a 50-50 split. It's like, how does it work? It just doesn't work. And then, however, have you ever used these before? It's like, well, maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but they haven't used yours before. So you've got to convince them why your product is good and, not talk about, their history with it. I will go into something else later, which talks about asking someone's experience, but it's more to do with skill level. When your product requires a skill level, then that can be useful to ask this question. And then competitors just don't do it. If you start making them think about competitors, they might think that competitor was actually better. And I'm going to go over there now. So anyway, here are just some examples of ones that I like. So again, as I said, it's an art form. It's not a science. So I can't just say, ask these exact questions if you have this type of business. It's still a bit of an art form. So here's this one, similar to the red light therapy, energy and what is the question? What benefits are you looking for? Energy and focus, stress support, regulate hormones, better sleep. All of these can have brilliant targeted messaging. Right? So if someone clicks on better sleep, boom, you send them an email all about how this product, I forgot what this product is, but how this product helps with sleep. Okay, so really, really good targeted messaging there. Not too personal, it's just saying, yeah, I just need a bit of help with stress, or, regulate hormones, just need a little bit of help. We're not getting too personal there. If you sell skincare products, do this. You absolutely have to do it. It's just the done thing, because all skincare products work differently with different types of skin. I believe there are more types, if I'm honest. I feel like I've seen it, but anyway, they got normal, dry, and oily. So in this case, this is an absolute winner if you've got any type of skincare product or hair care products. Is it frizzy? Is it, gosh, don't talk to me about hair, I'm bald. But is it frizzy? Is it curly? Is it straight? I don't know. Whatever it is, hair care products, it works brilliantly well. Just get the types of hair. So this one is just a flavor thing. So with flavors, it does work. So, with clothing, it didn't work because, people might wear different styles on different days, but with flavors of things, often they will have a preference. So, if someone is a chocolate lover, they're always going to be a chocolate lover, and that's it. I always eat chocolate ice cream, or I always eat vanilla ice cream, whatever it is. So, this can really, really help. And then yeah, same again with the cookies. And this one's a bit weird. Like, what's your favorite cookie? Sugar? Yeah. Don't they all have sugar? Anyway, whatever. They did a good job anyway. And then I think there's the last one. Yeah, finally, this is that skills-based one. So the skills-based one is great for sports. In this case, it's for crochet. Whatever it is, whatever product you're selling that requires a skill will often have different products for depending on their level. So in this case, I'm just getting started. I'm beyond granny squares. I'm a total crochet nerd. So this one would be brilliant. I don't know anything about crochet, but I bet they've got a bunch of different products depending what level that the person is at. So if you've got a skill-based product, then definitely use this one here, beginner, intermediate, pro, whatever it may be. And obviously they've been a little bit cheeky with it here. They've added some nice language around it. Don't just feel like beginner, intermediate, pro. That's just boring. Just come up with something clever about it. Right. So I'm now going to jump into Klaviyo and show you how to get this set up in Klaviyo without using Alia. But if you want to use Alia, again, the link is in the description. But anyway, before I move on to that, I just want to show you a document that I've got. This is all about sign-up forms and pop-up forms or whatever, and collecting email addresses with your e-commerce store, right? And as I said, many times I'll bang on about it. Collecting emails for your e-commerce store is a huge priority, huge priority. So what this document is all about is how to do it well, basically, how to do it well, what to avoid, why it's important. There's a lot of things on here. I've got a little video about the costs. This is an example of someone who signed up and then bought the next day with a reminder. Here are like the don'ts of what not to do, and then I've got the do's, and then here. So here, this is the first one here is this, what we're talking about now, this particular setup. So if you want this document, then click the link below and I'll give you this document. And then when you click here, that will take you to the other document that I was looking at, which is all about this. And of course, I'll put the training video of how to set this up in this document as well, as soon as I'm done with this. So you'll get all of that. You'll get everything about pop-ups. You'll get this specific pop-up. If that's, it's a full course on how to maximize your sign up rates for your e-commerce store. So yeah, it's just a really big document, a big full course on how to do it, and then how to split test and things like that. So the link for that is down below. Go ahead and get that, and really use this document. I've actually got a guy in my group. He's recently hit like 9.5% with using this document. So really fantastic work there. All right, so let's dive in. Let's just have a look. So I'm just in like a dummy account here, and don't worry about any of this. This is just a dummy account. So I just obviously go to create form, and I think I might just create from blank. I'm not gonna try and make it look good. I'm literally just showing you the technical setup, right? So I'm just gonna do create from blank. You know, let's just do micro commitment question air pop up. Okay, save and design. All right, so we got to choose a list. All right, so here you can choose the full page. Now, just be careful with that, especially for mobile. It doesn't always work out. And I would recommend making a separate one for mobile and desktop because the imagery on mobile, it just gets squished and it doesn't work out. But let us just do pop-up because I think with Klaviyo, it's a bit better. And then choose a list, whatever, example list name. Okay, so we're going to go straight to this first step. So don't worry about the teaser. And this is the first step. So they've kind of got it already. Like Klaviyo's got this as a default, but they haven't got many questions. So let's just imagine we're going to go with like a skills-based one. So obviously, how good are you at golf? Whatever, something like that. And then... Oh yeah, of course we do also have to put, I mean, again, I'm not going to make this. Let's put that in here. Wait, paste with formatting. Oh, that didn't work out. Try again. So, no, paste text only. How good are you at golf? Obviously. All right, so, you know, this is not a real thing. Obviously, it needs to be a bit better. And then here we're going to do the discount. You've got a discount. Again, I'm just putting this in here as a filler, right? Because I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about how to design it. You know, this is literally the technical setup. So now the options are, let's just see, what could we do for golf? Let's do handicap. So let's go like this. Let's move this out of the way. Come on. All right, so let's say I know a little bit about golf, so let's just say 36 plus handicap. Now that's someone who's terrible at golf. And then we're going to go like this, and you can't duplicate. I forgot that. So let's just go back, add block, add a button, pop that in there. All right, so I'm going to move myself over here now. I thought you could duplicate. Yeah, anyway. Let's just copy the padding. So, padding, button style, height 64, padding is there. Okay. Whoops. Okay, just to get the size right. And whatever, what was that, 8, I think it was? No, it was bigger than that. What was that? I said 8. Yeah, oh, I must have shading on it. Yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna go crazy with this. So what's the text going to be? So then let's just say 18 to, let's just say above 18, you know, handicap. So obviously they know, you know, if they're above 18 handicap, then it's up to 36. And then another block, so another button. Again, just for this video, let's do it. Oh, I've forgotten what it was, 180. Okay, go here, button text, let's say 9 to 18. Handicap. And then, oh no, what did we say? We said 9 plus, so let's just go 9 plus handicap. And then last one here, add another block, button. Go down here, 180. What we're going to call it again. So this time we'll do 1 plus, because anyone who's at 0 is obviously close to pro. Handicap. And then finally our last button is going to be the pro level. So that is Scratch. I know it's called Scratch Golfer. Okay, so we've got our question, we've got our answers, but we need that when somebody clicks one of these, they get assigned what is called a custom profile property in Klaviyo. Okay, so all we have to do is click on each button, And then here you've got, let me just scroll in over here. So profile property. And then we can just call this one here. Sorry, we need to let me get out a bit. So let's just call it handicap level. Okay. So that is the title of the custom property. And then you need to do the name. So then you'll just do 36 plus for this particular button because I've got the 36 plus one selected, and you just go create, and then you go down to this one, and then where is it? Up here. Hang on a sec. What's going on? It's moved. Where is that? So here it's up there. Why is this one not appearing? Oh, I've probably got to. Oh no, that's right. Submit form. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so that obviously is there. So submit form, show next step. That will be for all the buttons, obviously. And then we've got our source again here. And then we now use the same one that we got before. So did I save it? I didn't save it. Handicap level. I have to create it. And then this time it will be 18 plus. So create. So yeah, let me just go back to that other one. Somehow it's still there. Okay, whatever. Yep, okay. So now let's go on to this one. Change the button, submit form, show next step, and then add a property. And then the handicap level should be there. Well, why is it not showing up? I thought it saved it. I think sometimes it doesn't save it when it hasn't got any values yet. So you've got to make sure to type it exactly the same every single time. And then this one was 9 plus. And then create. And then go to the next one. And then submit form. Add a property. Get the value. Handicap level. And then this one is 1 plus. Whoops. 1 plus, create. And then finally go to the scratch golfer. Submit form, show next step. Yeah, sorry, that's fine. Select the value, handicap level. And then this one would be scratch. Okay, so create that. All right, so now we've got all our custom profile properties set up so that whenever anyone clicks on one of these, that will go onto their own profile, right? It's like this little tag thing, and you'll see handicap level and then the number that they selected. So basically that's it in terms of the pop-up. So this is now set up. Obviously, again, I'm not gonna design it and everything. Now you can delete this. I'd prefer to have no option to say close form or no thanks, because there is the X up here. That's perfectly fine. Just let them click the X. You don't want to make it too easy for someone to just quickly go close. They want to, they have to take a bit of time, and if they're like, oh, where is it, and then actually maybe I am interested in this, so just having the X is just fine, and it helps conversion rates as well. So then obviously the next step would just be the email opt-in, and just make sure that when somebody opts into the email, it goes into the correct list. So what would this be? As you can see there, example list name, that's what I selected before. So that would still trigger your usual welcome series. All right, so they still need to get the usual welcome series, unless you're going to set it up the way I did with Red Light Rising. But usually just want them to go through the usual welcome series and then send them one email based on their choice. Okay, so that's fine, and then do the rest of the setup. So now let's set up a one email flow using one of the custom properties. So this may not work actually because nobody has actually gone into it, but I'll try. So let's just say build your own. Okay, and we'll just say 36 plus handicap golfers. Okay, no tags, create flow. And then we go over here to the triggers, and then basically, I forgot one step. we have to create the segment. So I'm going to cancel that. So let's go over here. I'll open a new tab. So you go to list and segments over here. And then, let me make this smaller. Create new, create segment. And then we're going to call this 36 plus handicap golfers. And then we'll just go to properties about someone. And then it might not be there. No, it's not there yet. Handicap level. Nah, it's not saving. Why did I think it's because this is a dummy account. It's not saving. I think as well, you may have to just do a test. I think if you do a test on yourself, then the property will be assigned to you, and then you can create the segment. It just needs one person to do it for this custom property to come up. So we're just going to have to skip this step here because I'm not going to go ahead and do a test thing and blah, blah, blah. I'm just not going to do that. But basically, you would come here and you would put in your the name of it. So in this case, it's the name of the entire thing, not the thing that they selected. It's the name of the entire thing. So in this case, it was handicap level. Whatever, imagine that's saved, and then the value is 36 plus. So again, this needs to match exactly as you did it on the sign up form. So if I did this here, then I would save it, and then when people start clicking on that 36 plus, they'll go into this segment. And basically when they go into that segment, we can send them the one flow, which will be a segment triggered flow. And we just choose this here, add it to segment. But then, of course, I've not got segment set up in this. That particular segment is not set up. But what I would do is find the one, it was 36 handicap. And I'd find it and I'd click on it. And then I'd start creating the flow. So what I'd recommend in this case, whoops, here we go. What's going on? How do I get, no, cancel this. I want to get... I'll make this. What the heck? I've zoomed in, but I can't zoom out. Let me pause for a sec. Okay, so here we go. And what I would do with this particular flow is put a time delay on it. Because you want them to get your welcome series, you want them to get that code that you put into the sign up form. Let that be for a little bit and then put a time delay on it. So let's just get the time delay here. And I think 2 hours is good. 2 hours. And then save that. And then that's it. You just put the email in. And again, I'm not going to design email here and show you what to do. But this particular one, because we're talking about the 36 handicap golfers, okay, start talking about beginner golfers or, cheap clubs or whatever it is. It needs to be specific to who they are as a golfer in this case. I mean, imagine you did it with the oily skin or the dry skin, the normal skin. You'd set it up, and then imagine this is oily. Then this email here is all about oily skin, and then you recommend them products, oily skin products. So that's it. That's how you set it up. It's become a hugely popular thing. I see more and more stores doing it, and it's really, really working. That micro commitment, little questionnaire thing that, makes them click something and then go to the next level and then submit their email. It works really, really well. So again, as I said, if you want to learn how to do this, I'll put this video in here. If you want to get this document, I'll put this link down below so you can get this full document. And as I said, the full tutorial, which I've gone through here, will be in this section here, which will lead you back to the other one. And yeah, that's it. So, please go for it. If you've got this far, that's amazing. Like, you're really interested in growing your list. Mega, mega important. And, go for it. Let me know how you do. Write to me if you've got any questions. And yeah, hope to see you around.